Bloodborne pathogen exposure control. An exposure control plan for bloodborne pathogens should include the following elements. Identification of hazards. The practice should identify and evaluate the potential sources of exposure to bloodborne pathogens in the workplace. This includes evaluating the tasks and procedures performed by employees, as well as the type of equipment and materials used. Standard precautions. The practice should implement standard precautions for all tasks and procedures that may involve exposure to blood or other potentially infectious materials. This includes the use of personal protective equipment, PPE, such as gloves, goggles, face shields, and gowns. Engineering controls. The practice should implement engineering controls to minimize the risk of exposure to bloodborne pathogens. This includes the use of needleless systems, sharps disposal containers, and other devices that reduce the risk of exposure. Work practice controls. The practice should implement work practice controls to reduce the risk of exposure to bloodborne pathogens. This includes the use of safe injection practices, safe handling and disposal of sharps and biohazard waste, and proper hand hygiene. Employee training. All employees should receive training on bloodborne pathogens, including the risks associated with exposure, the signs and symptoms of infection, and the importance of reporting exposure incidents. Vaccination. The practice should offer hepatitis B vaccination to all employees who may be at risk of exposure to bloodborne pathogens. Record keeping. The practice should maintain accurate and up-to-date records of employee training, exposure incidents, and medical evaluations. Post-exposure evaluation and follow-up. The practice should have a protocol in place for the evaluation and management of employees who have been exposed to bloodborne pathogens, including post-exposure prophylaxis and follow-up testing. Review and update. The practice should regularly review and update the exposure control plan to ensure that it remains effective and current. By implementing an exposure control plan, a medical practice can help to minimize the risk of exposure to bloodborne pathogens among employees, and create a safer and healthier work environment. Thank you for watching.